Hello, guys. Welcome back to Between the Ropes TV. We are very excited as we've got a very, very special guest with us today. Joining me and Ray, we've got British Super Welterweight Champion Troy Williamson. Troy, how you doing?
Yes, Josh, I'm all good, mate. Yourself?
Not too bad, mate. Buzzing to have you on. Really, really are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
thank you for having me on, mate.
Great to have you on, Troy. Troy, I just thought I would start really by asking you how you got into boxing and how did you fall into it?
I started boxing when I was 10 years old. My dad took me to the boxing gym. Back then, obviously, I was too young to compete. You had to compete when you were 11, so basically, I was training like a dog, 10 years old, and I just didn't like it, to be honest with you. I wouldn't say I was forced to go. I wouldn't say I was forced to go, but because obviously my dad took me, it's as if I had to go, sort of thing. So yes, obviously I was going boxing every day, 5 days a week, and didn't enjoy it. So I was like sort of faking injuries and stuff like that. And to be honest, I just ended up just completely falling out of love with the boxing. So I went and played football. I played football from the age of 11 till 16, and then there was boxing, and obviously I started enjoying boxing again then, and there was a boxing gym opened up just around the corner from me, so I just thought, well, I'm going to go and give it a go, and then ever since then I've stuck at it.
Nice one. I think I read somewhere that you spent some time training with Imran Naeem over in Stockton. Is that true? And if it is, how good of an experience was that? Because he went on to train like the Lever Twins, didn't he?
Yeah, I trained. I had a few amateur fights with him, man. Won like the Northern Area title as an amateur. Great coach. He's a great man.
Yeah. And obviously bringing us on to like your amateur achievements. I mean, you've achieved a lot. I mean, you've won an ABA title. You've boxed at WSB. You fought the likes of obviously Fowler, Arlen Lopez. For those of you that don't know who Arlen Lopez is, look at what you've done in the Olympics for Cuba. But Troy, I mean, what's your view of what your greatest amateur achievement is?
My greatest amateur achievement was probably representing Great Britain around the world. I didn't win no. Did I win? No, I don't think I won any competitions apart from the Tri Nations, but just representing our country all around the world was definitely my biggest accomplishment as an amateur.
And is that because that sort of told you and everyone else, look, I'm the top guy in my weight class in the country?
Yeah, exactly. And like obviously I had my first amateur bout when I was 17, so I caught up pretty quick. Obviously I went to the European Games, I went to numerous tournaments, got to the WSB final, won the senior elite ABAs, so I started pretty late, but I caught up quick, a little bit of a natural talent, so yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah. And that sort of quick progression, if you like, has kind of helped you as a pro, because looking at your record now, you're 18-0, 13 knockouts. But one of the things I wanted to get to you was when you, before you had your win over Cheeseman, when people talked about the like middleweight division or super welterweight division, they talked about the likes of Fowler, they talked about Cheeseman, they talked about Kieran Conway, Scott Fitzgerald. We always know you up here in the Northeast. We always knew about you, Troy, but there was a lot of people that didn't mention your name. Do you think that you kind of flew under the radar, and do you think that helped you because, you know, you didn't have all that pressure, and that enabled you to surprise people, really? Because we all knew what you were about, and you kind of burst something to see in that way.
No, I just blamed that on publicity. I didn't get promoted well. If like to tell you the truth, like all them kids you just mentioned, they all were matchroom, and they got well promoted. They got airtime. They got TV slots. I didn't box on TV. I think my first fight on TV was Kevin Smith, and that was in a final eliminator for the British. So up until then, that was when I was 17. No, I didn't get no recognition that I believe that I deserved. So yeah, obviously when I got the shot against Cheeseman, a lot of people were writing me off, but that's just because they've never seen me on TV or never seen me box. So I was just Troy Williamson. They were like, "Who's Troy Williamson?" Nah, Troy can't be that good. I've never heard of him, but obviously I went and showed everyone what it was all about.
Well, I think everyone knows who Troy Williamson is now. Let's put it that way. One thing I liked about how emphatic that win is, you left absolutely no doubt, and arguably what was one of the knockouts of the year. And then you put in a clinic towards the end of your performance against Mason Cartwright. And what I liked about it is you came off the canvas in order to do that. Do you think that's short? Because there's a lot of people who've got to know you thought, well, he's just a puncher. You're obviously very physically strong. You've had your man strength there. Obviously, you said from when you started boxing when you had your second spell as an amateur when you were 17. Do you think that fight against Cartwright showed another part of your game that actually you can get behind the jab and you can box pretty well?
Yeah, exactly. Because the fight didn't go as planned. We had to change things in there. Had to change the game plan during the fight, and it definitely showed a different part of the game. Obviously, I went down, showed great. Obviously, I got up, and obviously, I finished strong. But it wasn't a great performance from myself, but I won the fight, and I could have made it a lot more comfortable just by sticking to my boxing and sticking behind the jab. Because once I started using the jab from round 7 onwards, I think I won every round from 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
Maybe a few were close, but obviously a few from round 1 and 6 were close. So, I definitely showed a different part of the game, and I was just thinking while I was in there, and not just trying to bulldoze people over.
Yeah, and really, you've shown that actually you can mix it up if you need to, but you can be a thinking fighter as well, stay on the outside and be smart and use that jab. You touched upon not perhaps being promoted and your potential being maximised, obviously in the past, but you're with Probellum now, and I've noticed it's been obvious really with Probellum, they've got quite a big Northeast contingent alongside them. How do you think that helps you, Troy? Because the Northeast are getting back into the boxing. Does this give you the platform you deserve?
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, Probellum you've seen what's going on. Obviously, they've been a bit quiet, but they're starting to put on shows again now. And I think Probellum in years to come, I believe, will be the leading promoters. Northeast boxing is booming, and it's about time we get the recognition. And they've signed a lot of great fighters like Pat McCormack, Dickinson. They've got a lot of Northeast fighters. So there's going to be some
there as well.
Richardson, Tommy Ward. There's going to be some big shows up in the Northeast.
Yeah, they have, and I think really what it makes is it's really exciting for the Northeast fans when they are up here, because the cards are stacked with Northeast talent. So that's really, really exciting to see. Obviously, in your division, there's starting to be some noises being made, isn't there? You've had the likes of, you've got people like veterans like Liam Smith who are just seem to always be there. But Josh Kelly had an interesting win the other day and a comeback, and he was calling out Lewis Ritson, and some of our subscribers have said actually that a fight they would prefer would be a massive fight between you and Kelly. What do you think of Kelly's comeback? And and do you still see him being your division? Do you think he'll go back down to welterweight? What do you see for Josh?
I didn't catch the fight, if I'm honest. I was watching one of my brothers box on one of these unlicensed shows. So
all right.
I didn't catch the fight. I've seen the stoppage, and he stopped a good durable opponent, because Mark Dickinson went the distance with him over 6, I believe. And Mark's a great talent, very good, explosive young lad. So he's obviously done well to get the stoppage, but I wouldn't say he's the biggest suit welterweight. So who knows? Obviously, he's obviously moved up for a reason. He's obviously outgrown welterweight, maybe, but
I suppose that's some interesting points, because Mark Dickinson, you're right. He is quite an explosive puncher. And he's campaigning at middleweight. And I suppose Josh Kelly, he's one of those fighters that did have the backing behind him. He was well promoted. So he's always going to be talked about in circles, isn't he? But I think for you, Troy, obviously having those two great wins of late, I mean, where do you see yourself being in the next sort of like 12 months from now? Obviously, you've got Probellum behind you; they're pushing you. Are you looking at European titles, or are you looking at more world rankings?
Yeah, I'd love that. Obviously, I'd love the European shot, and I think I'm only a couple of wins off, maybe an eliminator for a world title. The board have recently just ordered me to fight JJ Metcalf, so there's another fight of the year contender. If it gets made, but obviously that goes to purse bids in July, so we'll only know for obviously July 13th, see what happens from there. But obviously, I'd take that fight in a heartbeat, and it's another great fight, and it's another defence in the British. So, yeah, who knows? Obviously, it's like you say, it's exciting times ahead. So,
it is, and JJ Metcalf to be fair to him, he had a good win last time out.
Great win.
Yeah, he had a good win. He went abroad, I think he went to Spain, and he fought that Laraca, who had a bit of a reputation as beating up our Brits.
He beat all the Brits that he faced. That's why I wanted the fight. I was calling for the fight. I've been calling for months, but I didn't get it. And obviously JJ's went over there and done the business. So yeah, I'm made up for him. And like you say, obviously if me and him end up sharing the ring, I can see it being a great fight.
I was going to say, as a fan, I hope that fight gets made because yourself and JJ Metcalf, as you say, with Ted Cheeseman last year, it was a fight of the year contender, and I think it'd be another one this year as well.
Yeah,
definitely. Troy, just before we let you go, is there any sort of like sponsors or anybody that you want to shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out Michael Kitson, Darren Beeson, MNLK Communications, being a long time sponsor, as well as Dash Media from Dalton. They followed me from the start. R&R Jewelers in Yarm High Street, and in Phoenix in Newcastle. Yeah, R&R Jewelers. Nice. Didn't realize I had that on. And Soul Sneaks. So that they produce all my trainers. So yeah.
Nice one. You've got some pretty good batting there, Troy. And for our subscribers and people watching this, don't want to follow you on social media, where can they get you, Troy?
Yeah, you can get me on Instagram, Troy Williamson _1. On Twitter is Troy Williamson _. And yeah, that's it. Obviously, I've got Facebook, but that's just don't really post nothing on Facebook really.
Nice one. All right, Troy. Look, thank you very much for coming on, mate. It's been a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, thank you for having me, mate. Thank you for having me, lads.
Brilliant. Cheers, Troy.